Hi everyone, this is Priya Vashne and I again welcome you all to the new session. In this video, we are going to talk about Aristotle's theory of revolution, right? So, before understanding his theory of revolution, let us first understand the Aristotle's concept of revolution. See, in general terms, when you talk about the term revolution, then it actually means the complete overthrow of the current system or in which is normally violent, right? But Aristotle's concept of revolution is slightly different. See, we all know that Aristotle was a conservative by nature, right? So, what he says is, or what do I mean when I say that Aristotle was a conservative by nature? This means that he does not like changes. A conservative is a person who try to conserve the traditional institution or traditional customs, etc. They are the persons who dislike changes, right? Or you can say that these are the persons uh, who basically they try to avoid changes, right? So for Aristotle, if I talk about Aristotle, then for Aristotle revolution can be considered as the situation of a slightest change. So what Aristotle says is that even the slightest change in governance can be considered as a revolution. Is it clear to you? So it's not like that there is a complete overthrow or power or etc. Such things are not happening. Aristotle is saying that even if there is a slightest change, then that he is calling the as the revolution. Is it clear? Okay. Now, um, okay. So, as we have also studied in his theory of constitution, that he has studied around approximately 158 constitutions, and basis which he has also given his theory of constitution. And in his book Politics, he has talked about the various causes of revolution. He has talked about various kind of constitution, etc, right? So in this book, when he was basically when Aristotle was analyzing these 158 institutions, then he has also analyzed that what can cause a revolution, or he has also tried to understand that what can be the causes of a revolution, right? So what he said is, what he came to know was that he has actually categorized those causes into two major uh, components. One is he is calling as some in some specific situations, or you can say in some specific scenarios, and then he has also talked about some general causes. So what do I mean by some specific situations? See, we have studied about his theory of constitution. If you have not seen that video, then the link is in the description. You can see that from there, right? Okay. So in that video, when in his theory of constitution, we have seen that he has actually categorized various forms of government in a matrix, where he talked about monarchy, aristocracy or oligarchy, democracy, etc. So what he's saying is, he was actually trying to say that if, let's say, there is a monarchy kind of government, then what can be the cause of revolution? If there is an aristocracy, then what can be the cause of revolution? If there is democracy, then what can be the cause of revolution? For example, let's say there is a monarchy, right? Monarchy means the king of a single person, right? A single person or king. So you have also been seen in throughout the history that what happens is, when a person from a family becomes a ruler, then many of the times his own brother and sister actually conspires against him or her to, in order to overthrow his from the crown, and to get the crown for themselves, right? So there, this jealousy can be the cause of revolution, right? uh, in If I talk about aristocracy or oligarchy, right, then Aristocracy is what? Aristocracy can be said as the rule of few rich people, right? So there is a situation that few poors, or when poors may feel bad for it, and they may conspire against these rich people. If I talk about democracy, then we have also seen that democracy was the rule of many ignorant poor. Then rich people may conspire against these poor, etc. Right? So this Aristotle has highlighted, right? When I'm talking about general causes, then apart from these specific situation, he has also given some general causes. For example, one of the general cause was the universal passion for power and privileges. Everyone wants to be in the power, so they may try to shift the power or change the power, etc. Right? Another reason may be carelessness or corruption of the ruling class, overreach of ruling classes, extreme inequalities of income and wealth. Some more reasons can be sudden inflow of foreigners, right? So this can cause a kind of conflict between the citizens and the foreigners, and citizens can revolt against them. Another situation may be like if state rewards those who don't deserve, or if state does not reward those who deserve, etc., etc., right? So he has given various causes. Now, apart from these causes, one of the most important cause which he gives, or for the revolution, or which he thinks that one of the most common cause for the revolution is the feeling of inequality. Is the feeling of inequality. So, what Aristotle says is that everywhere, in the words of Aristotle, everywhere inequality is a cause of revolution. Now let us try to understand what is there in the mind of Aristotle while he was speaking this statement. So what Aristotle says is, be it be tyranny or be it be aristocracy form of government, the most common cause is the feeling of inequality. Hence, hence what Aristotle says is that if there is inequality in the society, right? If there is inequality in the society, it may be real or imagined. What do I mean when I say that it may be real or imagined? See, real means, for example, in a country there are some poor who are literally extremely poor, and there are some group of people who are extremely rich. So there is a real, you can say, a kind of inequality. And there may be some imagined also. For example, there are two siblings, right? There are two siblings, and one says that mother loves me less than my other sibling, right? So this may not be true. Maybe the mother loves both the siblings equally, but one sibling may, in his imaginations, or in his some, you can say, through his experiences in some situations, he may have some imagination in his mind that okay, this mother loves me less than my sibling. So this you can call as the imagined cause of inequality. So, but whatever be the scene, whatever be the scenario, what Aristotle is saying is that it has been seen that whatever form of government may be, the most common cause of revolution has been the feeling of inequality. Right? So, what he says is whenever there will be a feeling of inequality in the society, there will always be the chances of revolution. Is it clear? Therefore, Aristotle also suggests to the ruling class that they should be extremely cautious, that people should not develop this feeling of inequality, because see what happens is there is a ruling class, right? What is the ultimate purpose of this ruling class, apart from serving the public? They actually are there to kind of form a stable form of government, right? They are there to form a stable form of government. Now, which means that they actually try to remain in power, right? They actually try to remain in power. Now, what Aristotle is saying is that if you try to, or if you want to remain in power, if you want a stable form of government, then you need to be extremely cautious that what is going in your country is, you should be knowing if there are any chances by which people are feeling the, are having this feeling of inequality. Because if that is the scenario, that there are 110% chances that those feelings could result into a revolution, right? So you need to treat people equally. This is something what Aristotle is trying to say. So let us now delve more into this theory, right? Okay. Now now the point is why inequality is a concern. As I said, that he has also given many of the reasons before, but he has considered inequality as the most important and common reason for the revolution. Why is it so? Why Aristotle, for Aristotle, inequality is the major problem. See, Aristotle links this idea of inequality with his idea of justice. With his idea of justice. So, in order to understand his theory of inequality, you need to first understand his theory of justice, right? Okay. So, what if I talk about the Aristotle's idea or theory of justice, then Aristotle actually talks about two kinds of, actually divides justice into two types. Number one is distributory justice, number two is the rectificatory justice. So he is actually talking about two dimensions. I can say dimensions will be the more appropriate word. So two dimensions of justice. Number one is the distributive part and the second is the rectificatory part, right? If I say about rectificatory justice, now what do I mean by it? See, this is actually linked with the system of grievance redressal, right? Which is usually administered by the courts, right? This is usually being administered by courts, and he also and what about distributive justice? Distributive is also linked with the distribution of resources. Distribution of resources. Resources, rewards, honors, etc. Right? So have you understand the basic of this? That rectificatory justice is basically linked with the grievance redressal thing, right? So it is basically a type of justice that someone has done something bad, and then you are actually trying to put him, or you can say you are actually scanning him for his deed, and you are trying to say, okay, this is the kind of punishment he should be getting, etc., right? So this is usually was administered by the courts. Whereas if I talk about the distributive justice, then it is usually related with the public policy because it was concerned with the distribution of resources, honors, etc. Is it clear? Now now Aristotle has given a very important concept of proportion. Concept of, or you can say principle. Principle would be the more apt word. The principle of proportions. Now, what do I mean by it? So, what Aristotle is trying to do is he is trying to put this concept of proportion in both these forms, or both these dimensions of justice. How? What he says is that in case of rectificatory justice, which I say that this was actually related to the grievance redressal, right? He says that whatever penalty, whatever penalty, or whatever punishment you are giving to a guilty person should be in proportion to the harm done. Whatever harm he has done, the whatever penalty or punishment you are giving to the person should be proportionate to the harm done. It should not be very less, or it should not be very high, right? For example, if someone has stolen your pen, then you cannot give or announce the death penalty for that, right? Similarly, hence Aristotle was saying that whatever penalty or punishment we are giving to a person should be proportionate to the harm done. Second, how he is placing his concept of proportion in the dimension of distributive justice. That he says that whatever resources a person is getting should also be proportionate to his ability. Whatever resources, or you can say that distribution should held in proportion with the capacity, or you can say uh, the ability of the persons, right? For so distributive justice can also be called as social justice, or you can say that he was trying to he was actually talking about the public policy. This is clear to you, right? Right. So what's something which you should actually try to you should note about it is that his theory of justice was again based on common sense, right? So unlike the very unlike sorry sense, right, unlike the very abstract theory of justice given by the Plato. So he was actually trying to put his or apply his common sense, and he's trying to devise his theory of justice. This is this clear to you? Okay. So now comes the most important statement of Aristotle in this theory. That is his theory of justice. So what Aristotle says is that it is unjust. It is unjust to treat equals unequally. See, this is something which you all should be aware of. For example, if two students are learning in a class, then for a teacher, these two students are equal. This teacher should not because when I see from the perspective of a teacher, then all the students should be equal for a teacher, right? So in case someone does bad or something like that, then the teacher should not you can say discriminate between the people. The teacher is you can say he or she should actually treat both of these students equally, right? So so first part says exactly that it is unjust to treat equals unequally. Now what the second part of this theory says is that it is equally unjust to treat unequals equally. This is one of the very important thing. So just remind yourself about the concept of natural inequality, which Aristotle has talked about. We know that both, or you can say Plato or Aristotle, believed in the concept of natural inequality, whereas Plato has categorized people into three categories: man of gold, man of silver, and man of copper. Similarly, Aristotle also had classified people into two categories, that are people which who are master by nature and the people who are slave by nature, right? So when we will understand this his theory of justice, you will see that it is kind of linked with his theory of natural inequality. You will understand this statement soon. I hope these things are clear to you, right? Okay. So just a minute. Okay. So according to Aristotle, state, just remember his principle of proportion, right? What he says is that state should reward a person in in proportion of his contribution to the society. Whose work is more important for the society should get or should ought to get more. Just listen to the words. We are actually going his into his theory of natural inequality only. So what he suggests is that okay, it is unjust. it is unjust to treat equals unequally, which means that if two persons are having equal merit, then they should be rewarded equally. For example, if two persons, both the persons have got 90% marks, and if this is the highest in the school or in the class, then both the persons should get the certificate of first division, right? So what he's saying is that it is okay, it is true, or it is just it is actually unjust to treat equals unequally, which also means that two persons who are having equal merit are to be awarded or rewarded equally. Is it clear? But he actually adds into it. He said that okay, this part is okay for me, I don't have any problem in this. Second part में what he is saying is that it is also unjust to treat unequals equally, right? So what he is saying is that if state gives equal treatment to unequals, then this is bound to rise or the feeling of inequality. How? How? See, when he says unequals, then what he is trying to focus upon. We all have learned about his theory of slavery, in which he has said that some people are slave by nature and some people are master by nature, and according to him the contribution of masters is far more important to the society than the contribution of slaves, right? So since the contribution of masters is far more important for the state, now if a state will start rewarding both these people, or considering the if it will start to consider both these people as equals, then this is again bound to cause the inequality, because this person will these persons will start thinking in their mind that oh, I am the master and I am actually contributing a lot to the for the welfare of the society, but this state does not have any, you can say, importance of us in their mind. They are treating us as at par with the slaves, and hence these masters will bound to find to feel the or to start having the feeling of inequality, and this may be the cause of a revolution. Are you getting how Aristotle is trying to put things into picture, right? Now, what do you think about this about his theory? Obviously, this is actually not the justification of justice. His theory of justice is actually the justification of the injustice. What kind of injustice? The injustice which he has done by categorizing people into master by nature and and slaves by nature, right? So Aristotle believes that merit should be the principle of distributive justice, right? But when you talk, or when you actually try to understand the logics which given by the contemporary scholars, then merit is basically a flawed argument. A flawed argument. Why? Because there is a link between merit and and opportunity. Opportunity or circumstances. For example, a person is being born in a poor family and a person is born in a rich family, right? Now these two persons may have equal level of equal capabilities of thinking, etc., right? They may be equal by that sense, but since he or she belongs to a poor family, then the number, or then the amount of opportunities which this person may be getting may be far less than this person, right? So only on the basis of merit you cannot decide. You cannot that who what person should get more. Matlab, if we actually go from the logic, of Aristotle, then what will happen is that some people who are master by nature, right, master by nature, they should actually get the more and more portion of the resources, and slaves should not get more and more portion of the resources. Why? Because these persons are very important, these are contributing more to the society. But this cannot be the, you can say, the principle of justice, because in a just society all the peoples are equal, every person is the citizen of the country, right? So we cannot treat some people as you can say, we cannot treat them favorable over the other persons. Is it clear? So in this scenario, when this person is belonging from a poor family, then obviously the opportunities which he or she is getting will be far far less than the rich person. Now if I say that, okay, you just because not considering the circumstances, if I say that, for example, after you can say after the graduation, obviously this person may be able to earn more, right? Because he has got good opportunities, he may have gone to IIT, etc., and he may be earning very very good, and he may say that, okay, he will obviously be contributing more to the society. And if I say that, hey, since these people are contributing more to the society, therefore give more resources to these people, and obviously give less resources to these people, this will actually lead to more and more injustice, because these people will actually get more and more down, or you can say, और ज्यादा poverty में घिसते जाएंगे, right? So this theory of justice which was given by the Aristotle cannot be the theory of justice. This was actually the justification of the injustice, right? For example, in a society like India, there are massive inequalities, right? There are a large amount of poverty which is prevalent here. So we cannot consider merit alone as the principle of justice, right, as the principle of distribution of resources, until and unless there is no social leveling, right? Therefore therefore our constitution of India, therefore, the Constitution of India talks about the positive discrimination, right, in favor of the weaker people, weaker sections of the society. Is this clear? So we have actually studied his theory of justice. We have also seen that how that we have also critically examined his theory of justice. Is it clear to you? Okay. Now, coming back to his theory of inequality, or you can say coming back to uh, his theory of revolution. Is it clear? So so what is the most important statement in that theory was that everywhere, we have seen at the starting of this video, right? Everywhere inequality is a cause of revolution. If I say this is the question for you, discuss, then what will you say? What will you write? First of all, you will actually talk about that Aristotle has given an exhaustive theory of revolution based on the analysis of 158 constitutions, right? Then you will talk about his perspective of revolution. Then what you will do? You will actually um, give that he has given some specific and general reasons, etc. In 1 to 2 lines you will actually mention this. Then after this you will talk about the linkage of this, or you can say that inequality was the major cause as per the Aristotle. Then you will link this inequality with his idea of justice. So what was the linkage is that if you are trying, or if you are going to treat unequals equally, then this is bound to rise the uh, inequality between the persons, feeling of inequality, and hence this could actually lead to revolution. right? So, here one point which I would also like to add is that we may disagree with Aristotle's concept of equality and justice, but we cannot ignore that Aristotle's view that inequality has been the cause of revolution. It's okay that the way he was reaching to this that feeling of inequality was wrong, because he was actually trying to prove his theory of natural inequality in that. But the statement that feeling of inequality is one of the most important cause of revolution is not incorrect. Because if you see, for example, French Revolution, Russian Revolution, Chinese Revolution, Arab Spring, etc., everywhere you can find a common link. You can find a common link, that is the feeling of inequality, right? So this is all in this video. I hope you have understood this well. So this is all in the Aristotle's theory of revolution. So we have actually covered almost all the theories of Aristotle. One theory is left, that is his theory of law. So in the next video, we will cover his theory on law. Until then, take care. Bye bye. And if you have not subscribed yet to this channel, and please subscribe to this channel and share it as much as you can, because this will actually give me motivation to improve my content a lot, and this will actually motivate me to make such a content. So thanks a lot. Take care. Bye bye.